What's up, everybody? My name is OMG, WTF, LOLF to WBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016, not 2020. We are here today with everybody's favorite show. I know you guys have been hounding me, waiting for me to upload this specific show. You're always saying, who cares about Raw, OMG? Why do you keep uploading Nitro all the time, WTF? And the local to global series is dead, LOL. FTW, you know what we want? We want Sunday Night Heat, baby! But all I say is BRB, so... Anyway, here we go with the show. Let's stop wasting time, and let's just go ahead and run the show, shan't we? Ooh, actually, before we, start the program, there is one thing I do want to go over, and it pertains to TNA. A little while back, I had you guys vote on what we're going to do with TNA, whether we would do a TNA series, or if we would just not do it, and if we were to do it, how we would do it. And I'm sorry to say, but, and I know some of you guys might hate me for this, but that vote doesn't matter to me. I know it's kind of heartless to say, but I'll be honest with you. I'm going to go ahead and do TNA as a separate save. The thing that won the vote, I think it was only by a small margin anyway, so I don't think a lot of people will be mad. But the thing that won the vote was that we were going to do it in the same save as Invasion. But I've been doing my own personal TNA playthrough on the side just to kind of get an idea of what I wanted to do with TNA. And as I've been playing through in that save, it's just been really interesting and honestly kind of irritating to see how well WWE has done, and it's just been interesting to see what some of the things WWE has done, mostly per se to the people that WWE ends up hiring when I let the computer take over. So we are going to have a multiverse here on the channel, and there will be a separate save to where TNA is being played by us truly. Maybe we were fired by the WWE, and now we are taking over with TNA hired by Jeff Jarrett. And then the other multiverse will, of course, continue on with the Invasion series as it is. It'll be interesting because we'll not only get to see what WWE does during the TNA save while the computer takes over, but we also can see what TNA does by itself when the computer takes over there. Anyway, I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Let us go ahead and start this video or show on the road. 54C- rating here as we start off the pre-show with a terrible matchup in which the Right to Censor, Charlie and Russ Haas, go over the team of the Blue Meanie and Colt Cabana in 8 minutes 13 seconds after Russ Haas defeated Colt Cabana with the Haas of Pain submission after a little bit of interference from their cousin Steven Richards. Apparently, Colt was the weak link in this match, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance. I'm going to have to blame popularity on that because Colt, in my opinion, I think is one of the more promising people in the developmental roster. And I don't know, there's really no reasoning why Blue Meanie and Colt Cabana are teaming with each other. Normally, I would have it be Supernova, and it would be like the Blue Meanie and Supernova as the BWO. But I kind of wanted to see where Colt was, and I thought him and Meanie would make an interesting team since they kind of have both this silly little gimmick style. Nonetheless, of course, we already know about the great chemistry that Russ and Steven Richards have when managing happening. Colt Cabana had a 30 in-ring performance. The Blue Meanie with a 44. Russ Haas with a 62, along with Charlie Haas. So the Haas brothers are at the same level here. Moving on to our next segment, we have a pre-show angle, I guess, here. 61 solid C rating here as Mike Sanders is out there just kind of being cocky, talking about how he's the best thing in Sunday Night Heat, and it's a damn shame that he can't get any TV time and he's neglected to hyping up the crowd, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of talking his crap, saying how he's being held back when he's interrupted by the Rageaholic himself, Sean O'Haire. And Sean O'Haire is not going to take any of this, so we got a solid 61 for that. Just kind of a way to get Mike Sanders on the show and help him build up maybe his popularity in a way, even though he's not on main television. At least here in Illinois, they'll know who Mike Sanders is. And then we head into our main event of the pre-show, which gets a 56C- rating here, in a pre-show match that doesn't apparently have any heat. Oh, excuse me, in a poor pre-show match. I missed that. In a poor pre-show match, Sean O'Haire defeated Mike Sanders in 9 minutes 59 seconds with the Widowmaker. Sean O'Haire with a 60 in-ring performance, Mike Sanders with a 48. Sanders is also improving in his performance, so good on you, Mikey. All right, so we open up. Never mind, that was not the main event of the pre-show. My apologies. 52D plus rating as we have our official main event of the pre-show here. In a terrible pre-show matchup, Justin Credible and Tank Abbott defeated the Afternoon Express, Kelso Courageous and Dizzy Hyde in 8 minutes 17 seconds when Justin Credible defeats Kelso Courageous by submission. Not exactly sure what that would be, but sure. Dizzy was off his game here tonight, had an in-ring performance of a 49, Kelso with a 50, only 1 point above his tag team partner. Tank Abbott was the worst in-ring performer of the match with a 45, Justin Credible with a 50. And Credible is also improving in his flying skills. All right, so we start off Sunday Night Heat with a 69 C plus rating here, as Sunday Night Heat opens up with Paul Heyman in the middle of the ring with a podium covered by a black sheet. Tell me if we've been here before. Of course, it looks like a championship is underneath that black sheet. But before Paul Heyman can speak up, that's when Jim Cornette stands up from the announcer's table and interrupts the general manager. All right, look, Paulie, I'm sorry, but I can't take it anymore. Week after week, it's the same damn thing with you. You know, I tried to do you a favor, but I'm going crazy out here, Paul. Seeing the same crap all the time? 1 week we're debuting the Heat Heavyweight title, the next week's the tag titles. What's it this week, huh? And then Jim Cornette rips the sheet off. Oh, what's this? Oh, the television championship, huh? And not to mention that since you've taken over Sunday Night Heat, the crop of talent you featured ain't nothing to brag about. Paul Heyman finally speaks up. Oh, and like you can do any better, Mr. Cornette. Well, as a damn matter of fact, you're damn right I can do better. You know, while Charlie and Russ Haas are promising talents, and Monty Brown and Mark Henry are loaded with potential, but you've got to be kidding me with the likes of Too Cool and Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. For crying out loud, Paul, do you know how embarrassing it was to have to sit there and call Tubby Dreamer and the Sandman as the first Heat Tag Team Champions? Do you know how embarrassing that was? It just sounds to me like you're a little mad that my guys won, Corny. No. See, that's the problem. Your guys won, and the only reason your guys won is because you put them there in the first place. And then finally, haven't heard enough, that's when Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman come out from the back and interrupt Jim Cornette. All right, Paul, you know, I've heard enough. Out comes the Heat Tag Team Champions, like I mentioned, Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. Sandman, of course, is smoking a cigarette. You can't stop him. You know, look, if you got a problem with us, Cornette, then why don't you do what you do best, and you find a team and then come back to us when you're ready. Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, I've already found a team. Well, of course you did. All right. You know, that's great, actually. Who is it, Jimmy? The Midnight Express? Camp Cornette? No, unlike Mr. Heyman here, I know it's time to invest in the future. Gentlemen, come on out. And that's when new call-ups from OVW are coming up. Nick Dinsmore and Rob Conway, but I'll let Jim Cornette go ahead and introduce them. Allow me to introduce you to Nick Dinsmore and Rob Conway, or as they like to be known as the Lords of the Ring. Tommy Dreamer then speaks up. Well, all right. Let's not waste any more time. It's put up or shut up. Let's do this. Tosses the mic down. Of course, Jim Cornette's got all smiles on his face. His new team of Nick Dinsmore and Rob Conway, the Lords of the Ring, are getting an opportunity here tonight against the Heat Tag Team Champions. And, well, if they win, that can possibly get them a Tag Team Championship matchup. Before we move on to that matchup, we do have a couple of things to note here. Scott Steiner says Mike Awesome has poor in-ring psychology. Well, Scott, I don't think you'll have to worry about that anymore, but we'll get to that in a moment. Rick Steiner says Reno doesn't get it And well, speaking of Mike Awesome, like I mentioned, Scott's not going to have to worry about him anymore because we went ahead and fired Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome returns from his rehab just to show up on drugs in his first match back. I ain't having it. Get out of here. See you later. Bye-bye. All right, so we open up with Paul Heyman and Jim Cornette having words. Jimmy Cornette stepping up from the announce table is not going to take this anymore. And in fact, looking like he's trying to take over Sunday Night Heat from Paul Heyman. And it looks like he's going to start with the tag team titles, as Jim Cornette does. 69 C+ rating for this. Paul Heyman, of course, worked the crowd well, as did Jim Cornette. Both were off... can I speak? Both were off script, as was Tommy Dreamer, and he too enjoyed the freedom of going off script. All three doing well. Beulah's getting better at her gimmick. That's okay. This angle got the crowd hotter. Heyman came across well, and the Paul Heyman versus Jim Cornette storyline begins. Moving on to our next segment here, we have the tag team matchup itself. 55 C- rating here, and about that had subpar wrestling and little heat to it. The Lords of the Ring, Nick Dinsmore and Rob Conway, defeat the Heat Tag Team Champions Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman in 10 minutes 28 seconds when Rob Conway defeats Tommy Dreamer illegally after using the ropes for leverage. Rob Conway had a 51. Wow, both Dinsmore and Conway holding their own in this matchup here. Conway had a 51 in-ring performance. Dinsmore had a 48, so he was the worst in-ring performer, but not by much. Only a point below the Sandman, who had a 49. Tommy Dreamer, of course, is the best in-ring performer of the match with a 57. Sandman is improving in his Rumble skills. That's always good. Moving on to our next segment here, we have a 53 C- rating, as of course, even though it was kind of overshadowed a little bit there by Jim Cornette and of course the Lords of the Ring debuting. We now indeed have a television championship here on Sunday Night Heat, the Heat TV title. Of course, that title will be defended every week here on Sunday Night Heat, including the Heat Super Shows, because, well, it's on television. And we will have a fatal four-way here tonight to determine our first ever Heat Television champion, and that'll be between Hardcore Holly, Rikishi, Sean O'Haire, and Steven Richards. No worker improvements, but why would there be? Next up, we have a 78 solid B, as we just get a video package hyping the debut of Batista. 78 solid B, that's damn impressive. He must got some great menaced. Not only is it hyping up the debut, but also it's hyping up that Batista will be in action next, because here we are. 53 C- rating. Back from our commercial break, Joe E. Legend is standing in the ring, and he takes to the mic. All right. How come my opponent tonight gets a whole video dedicated to him, yet the legendary Joe E. Legend doesn't get a televised entrance? You know, I'm no pushover, and Batista couldn't tie my boots on his best day. So maybe after I beat this fool here tonight, I'll get some respect around here. He then hands the mic off, Batista makes his entrance, and we're about to have our matchup between Batista and Joe E. Legend. 49 D+ rating in an abysmal match. Batista defeats Joe E. Legend in 3 minutes 3 seconds by pinfall with the spine buster. Quick little matchup here to showcase Batista and help get him over here more. Of course, the match cooled the crowd a little bit, but I'm sure we'll bring them back up. Legend with a 27 in ring performance. Batista with a 47. Moving on, we have a 63 solid C rating as we are backstage now with our backstage interviewer, Josh Matthews. Take it away, Josh. Well, joining me at this time, Jim Cornette and the Lords of the Ring. Jim, that's Mr. Cornette to you, Matthews. You know what? In fact, give me that microphone. You're not needed. Your guy said, put up or shut up, Heyman. Well, we sure as hell put up, didn't we? I believed I proved my point, and I'm willing to prove it again. My guys beat your guys tonight, and I think that's earned us a title shot. So next week, we'll be back, and we expect you and the Sandlot boys to be here as well, if they know what's good for them. So until next week, Paulie, boys, let's get out of here. Of course, Jim Cornette enjoyed the freedom of going off script here, but not only that, looks like Cornette is not wasting any time here. Dinsmore and Conway got the victory, and Cornette is saying, we earned our title shot. We beat the champions. Next week, we're going to be here. Y'all better show up. No worker improvements, though. Moving on to our next segment, we get a 65 solid C rating as we are backstage with Chuck Palumbo and Billy Gunn, and, well, we can overhear what they're saying, so let's go ahead and listen in. Billy Gunn speaks up. Can you believe Heyman put freaking Sean O'Haire in this televised title match and completely skipped over me? Favoritism at its finest. You know, Cornette might be on to something. That's when Sean O'Haire turns the corner and he says, you two sure love to compliment or complain, don't you? Oh, okay. Where am I at? I lost there's only like 3 lines here and I lost where I was. Chuck Palumbo then steps up and says, you know, that's rich coming from a guy who won't stop begging for a shot at my title. All right, you know, that's fair. But speaking of title shots, I couldn't help to hear that the one here is jealous of my TV title shot tonight. You know, you can call it what you want, but you and I both know that I deserve that title shot. Certainly more than some of the others, I'm willing to agree with that. But you know what, Billy? I'm willing to make a deal if you both are down. What kind of deal are you talking about? I'll give Billy my spot in the television championship match. But that's only if you give me a shot at the Heat championship next week. Not a chance. You're kidding me. See what I mean? Oh, hold on now. Hold on. Wait a minute here, Chuck. I got an idea. How about this? You get your title shot next week. But when Chucky beats you, you don't get any more title shots. Since I had to ad-lib here. I'm sorry, you guys. You don't get any more title shots as long as Chucky's champion. That sound good to you, Chuck? I guess. Sean? I'll see you next week. Sounds like we got a deal. Sean O'Haire shakes the hand of Billy Gunn, and then he shakes the hand of Chuck Palumbo. He pulls in Chuck Palumbo close, and they kind of stare in each other's face. And we have a little bit of a stare down before going to our commercial break here. So Billy Gunn going to take the spot of Sean O'Haire here tonight in our television championship matchup. And next week, Chuck Palumbo puts the championship on the line against Sean O'Haire. And if he wins, Sean O'Haire don't get another championship shot ever again as long as Chuck Palumbo's champion. Time for the main event. Television championship is on the line. 59 solid C rating. And about that had subpar wrestling and little heat to it. Doesn't matter that Billy Gunn made that deal because at the end of the day, Hardcore Holly gets the victory after beating Billy Gunn, Rikishi, and Steven Richards in 11 minutes 50 seconds when Hardcore Holly defeated Steven Richards with the Alabama Slammer to become the first ever Heat TV champion. Maybe we can call it the MTV Championship. It's not too bad. I kind of like that. It's certainly better than the TNT Championship, I'll tell you that. Hardcore Holly had an in-ring performance of a 52. The one Billy Gunn with a 48 in-ring performance. Rikishi with a 59 in-ring performance, outperforming everybody. Wow, Billy Gunn was the worst person in this match. And Steven Richards with a 51 in-ring performance. Hardcore Holly is improving in his performance skills. And then we move on to our next... Oh, wait, what is this? Steven Richards debuted a new power spot that showcased his ability to sell well. His psychology will be helped by being able to use it as a go-to spot in the future. I would have never guessed Steven Richards would have had a power spot, but sure. We then end off Sunday Night Heat with a 57 C- rating as Just Incredible and Tank Abbott interrupt Hardcore Holly's title celebration and beat down on him. Of course, we saw from the Heat Super Show that Just Incredible was interrupted by Hardcore Holly, and I'm thinking he took a little bit of an exception to that, and he returns the favor here tonight by ruining Hardcore Holly's celebration. Unfortunately, Incredible does have a gimmick that is going to get stale, so I'm going to write that down, and we'll look for a new gimmick for him, or maybe touching it up. And that gained heat for the Credible versus Hardcore Holly storyline that we got going on. So let's go ahead and end off the show. We get ourselves a 60 solid C rating. Apparently we didn't have enough attractive women on the show, but again, that is actually okay for Sunday Night Heat because we can't lose popularity on this show, so that's awesome. Apparently, well, I mean, I knew Nick Dinsmore and Rob Conway would be overused, but that's fine on my book. So solid 60 rating for this. That's going to be the end of this show. So normally I would go ahead and press continue here, and we would see some of the developmental shows and what they did. I'm actually going to end the video here, and this is going to kind of be the norm from now on, because whenever we do that, it seems like we drop a lot of frames, and my audio gets distinct from the video. Either I'm really ahead of the video, or I'm really behind in the video. And the video just looks like complete crap because it's so choppy and stuff. Like, there'll be stuff that's going on the screen that I'm not even talking about. So I'm going to do that in a separate video. That's going to be kind of like a little extra series where we kind of just look at what's going on in the world, per se. And yeah, that's going to be about it. So hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor, leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you have not already. And as always, my name has been OMG WTF LOL FTW And don't forget to share this video with your friends, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Instagrams. I don't give a dams. Anybody you feel would enjoy my content, give them a share and help your homeboy get some new subscribers up in this bitch. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. So until then, have a great day.